Hello, and this is a book review on The Human Error, things I like and things I found interesting in this book. So let's see what we got. The first one is the sinuses were designed imperfectly. It should be down rather than up. Mean gravity play a role. So I'm not going to get into too much details. The thing is that the sinuses are designed in a wrong way, so the gravity goes against how it should work. This is why we have a lot of sinuses problems, especially when we have a cold. And the next one is the neck is vulnerable compared to other systems, especially consider the importance. So the neck is really not protected. There is other parts of our body that are much more protected than the neck, especially when we consider how important the neck is to our health. So very, very important. Afterwards, we have our breathing is flawed since hair flows into the system and it's like breathing through a tube. I'm not going to go into too much details, but we have a problem with breathing, so it's much harder than it's for other animals. I remember the whole details, but that's how it works. So it's really hard, and it's like breathing through a tube, so it's harder. Afterwards, we have the ACL is not equipped for heavy weights and sudden changes. Additionally, is slow to heal due to small amounts of blood vessels. So the ACL, it's in the knee. A lot of athletes especially have problem with the ACL, and it's not equipped for heavy weights or sudden changes. This is why especially athletes or people that lift weights has many times we have problem with the ACL. And another problem that ACL has is that it's slow to heal because there is no much blood vessels, and blood vessels are the way the body heals itself, through blood. There is no much in there, so it's a very problematic area, say the least. The next one is evolution is like a treadmill. Always adapt, but you don't get anywhere. So just like a little thing about evolution. So this is just like a treadmill. So treadmill, you just run and run, but you don't really get anywhere. So evolution, what it means is that there is no goal at the end. We're not trying to reach somewhere. This is just adaptation all the time, but with no clear goal. We also have, since vitamin C grow in rainforests, whoever grew up there did not develop the genes to synthesize vitamin C. So that's the theory why we have problem with vitamin C. We lived in the rainforest. Rainforest has a lot of citrus fruits, so like oranges and other things like other fruits like that. And when you have it available, you don't develop other system to compensate for the lack of vitamin C. And what you end up having is you get used to vitamin C, so you get used to eating it, so your body does not produce that from other sources. So that's why we have so much deficiencies in vitamin C. Next one is B12 is produced by the body, but not by only one of the stomachs. But it cannot absorb back. So vitamin B12, only one of the stomachs know how to produce that or derive that vitamins from foods, but it cannot be absorbed back. So there is two stomachs that I forgot the name of them. It's like the small intestines and the bigger one, and so only one of them can produce that, but the way it absorbed, it's in the other one, and the other one cannot take it back from the second one. Okay, if that makes sense. The next one is calcium only can be absorbed along with vitamin D. Otherwise, the body will take it out of the bones. I was not aware of that. So calcium, it happens a lot. This is why also milk these days, a lot of milk comes with vitamin D. So milk has a lot of calcium, and this is why they add vitamin D, because calcium cannot be absorbed without vitamin D. This is, I was not aware of that. Probably I don't have a lot of vitamin D in my system, so that might explain some things. Not really. But the problem that is coming on top of this is that when the body doesn't have that calcium, it will take that from the bones. This is calcium supposed to help to build the bone and strengthen them. But what happens, there is a deficiency of calcium. It will take the calcium back from the bones in order to use. So that's a double problem. Next one is only 3% of the DNA is actual valuable information. The rest is gibberish and nonsense. So that's what he claims, not claims, I think it's like some studies, that only 3% is actual have a meaningful and valuable information in them. The rest is just random bullshit that we don't really need, but it's just there. So it's just a lot of gibberish, a lot of bullshit. Next one is, there is a problem of mutation to fix a problem, because there is a very low probability of a random mutation to happen again. It's random, it's a mistake. So that's a problem with, so when there is a problem, it's usually a result from a mutation that started it. And you say, why cannot be fix it back? Because the probability of that happening again, it's very low. It can happen. Definitely happens every once in a while, but it's like winning the lottery, and even, I think, even less than that, because there is much more possibilities for faults or for mutations to happen, that specific mutation to happen again in a different way, of course. So it happens A, it needs to happen B in order to get it back to normal. So it's random, it's a mistake, and it's a problem. So very low probability. The next one is, the sperm is running the equivalent of 30 miles in the speed of 25 miles per hour. That's stunning. That's really fast. So the sperm, when it's trying to reach the egg, he's running the equivalent. If we will run 30 miles, so it's like almost a marathon, in the speed of 25 miles per hour, which is like very, very fast. I don't think humans can even run that fast. Maybe only like really fast. Usain Bolt or some, I think that's the fastest. I hope that's his name. Anyway, next one is menopause. Women stop giving kids. Might develop in order to mother to be able to grow her grandkids. So menopause, it's when a woman stop having kids. It has this time, and he's talking about why is it good to have that menopause, why it got evolved, even because some animals do not have that. So I don't remember what animals, but some animals reproduce until the day they die. And one of the claims is that it's for the grandmother to help her daughter to grow her kids. There is another one of that, so I'll explain further. Next one is, modern medicine only increased the lifespan by about 10 years. Most of the problems occur in the first decade of life. Therefore, modern medicine helped with that only. That's I found it really interesting, and I was not aware of that. So modern medicine only increased the lifespan by 10 years. So, but you can say, yeah, but I think the lifespan back in the days was around 35, if I'm not mistaken. You say, why? So the reason is because modern medicine helped with the first years. So this is what I said, like, for modern medicine helped only with, because most problems occur in the first decade of life. And that's what modern medicine helped with those 10 years. And this is why we have much more lifespan. But usually also people that, like even back in the days when people managed to live after like 10, I think, they had much higher chances to reach like 70, 60, 70. So, and right now it's like around 80. So it's only about 10 years Of course, it's really important, the fact that we save a lot of kids. So that's we have here. The next one is the grandma hypothesis. It's evolutionary beneficial for the grandma to invest in her kids and her grandkids instead of giving more kids, since it's both dangerous to give kids, and it's more beneficial to invest in grandkids, especially consider communal communities. So that's the menopause, the reason that we have menopause, because it's a theory, of course. That's the grandpa hypothesis, that it's beneficial to grandma to invest in her grandkids, so it makes them better than a different group, or grandkids from a different grandma or her daughters. So that's make their kids more evolutionary, more successful. And another reason is also that it's really not another reason, it's one of the reasons that it's also better, because it's dangerous to have kids in late ages, and it's better to have least kids, but keep an eye on them and give them a better chances to survive. And especially when we consider communal communities, that there is help from other people, so they watch on each other, so they have that ability. That's the idea. All right, the next one is in time of inflammation, the body will send immune cells which cause redness, and the pain will make you nourish or rest, fever, prevent bacterial growth. That's just an interesting idea, is that in time of inflammation, the body will send immune cells, and this is why it get red. And this is just how things are related to each other. And then the pain will make you nourish or rest. So when you have pain, you say, oh, what's going on? I need to do something about it. So usually you rest, or you do something with it. So synthesize it or sterilize it, whatever you need to do. And the fever, when you have inflammation, is to prevent bacterial growth. So the body try to limit the growth of bacteria. So that's finding interesting. The next one is the body does not know how to handle allergies, and he's just overreacting sometimes, even commit suicide. So people that have allergies, the body does not know how to handle those allergies, and usually is overreaching and overreacting to those allergies. It makes it, and because there is no problem with it, but the body doesn't know how to handle this material, so it just treat it as the worst thing that ever happened, and sometimes even commit suicide. And that happens when people die from nuts. People sometimes die from nuts because the body is overreacting for that. That's what he claims. The next one is infants react extremely to bacteria. This is why their fever is much higher with the same disease. So, because in infants, the body does not know how to react, because he doesn't know that bacteria is overreacting too. So he reacts extremely to that bacteria, and therefore, usually infants, when they have some kind of disease, even a cold, their fever is much higher, and so it's even in danger zone. The next one is the problem with cancer is that the body does not identify it as a foreign invasion, because it's its own cells that goes array. That's the big problem with cancer, is that the body thinks it doesn't see any problem here. It's his own cells that got fucked up, and the body does not understand that, so he is not trying to do anything. If he would know, or if he would detect any problems, he would probably try to fix it, but he does not see any problems, and therefore he doesn't do anything about it. The next one is cancer is a product of random mutation. Therefore, the longer you play, the highest probability to get cancer. I found really interesting and funny in some way. So it's not really funny, I guess, because it's cancer, but it's funny. So cancer is a product of random mutation. So it's randomness, okay? So the longer you play, so it's like just going to casino. The more hands you play against the casino, the higher probability you have to lose because they have an advantage over you. So the more you play, the more problems, the more mutation that might happen in your life. So the longer you play, which means the longer you live, the higher the probability you have to develop some kind of a mutation. The next one is dogs and cats see TV as still images moving slowly because their retina is much better at receiving faster images. So people think that they see the same thing, but no, dogs and cats, their retina is much better than us, and their retina is much more equipped to movements. And they see TV as still images because it's, even for us, it's like a movie, it's still images that's moving fast. They see it much slower. So they see still images moving slowly. Of course, because for us it looks like fast, basically, but for them it's just slow. Very interesting. The next one is cognitive biases are a result of a brain trying to make shortcuts. That's how cognitive biases are evolved. The brain is trying to make shortcuts, heuristics in some way, and it results in cognitive biases of all kinds. Next one is the brain is usually enhancing trauma memories. One theory is that it helps to use fear in order to avoid future similar situation. So it happens a lot to humans. So usually the trauma, when you think about the trauma, is much harsher and more enhanced than the actual what happened. So the actual situation, the advantage and the benefit from this is that that's the theory anyway, is that it helps to avoid the future. So if you think, oh, this is bad, this is really bad, I'm trying to avoid this in the future, you're more likely to avoid that in the future. The next one is the sunk cost fallacy. When someone is losing money, for example, and saying, since I've already lost so much, was that for nothing? And that's the sunk cost fallacy. When we say, let's say we bought a stock and the stock is going down, or we do something, we work really hard on something and it doesn't work, or the stock like keeps going down, and we say, no, but we lost so much, or we invest so much in it, was that all for nothing? Even though economically, or an econ will say, this is wrong and I should not. So the stock does not have any future, or the project you're working on is worthless. There is no reason to invest more, but you want to invest more because that was all for nothing. That's a bias. And next one is false wine price tags drastically change what people think about the wine. So they had some studies. When you change the price tag, people think cheap wine is much better when they see a higher price. So it's a whole psychological. Not all, I guess, but most. Next one is wine sellers mix between cheap and expensive wine in order to show relative prices. We think sometimes something is cheaper when it's next to something expensive. So that's what they do that on purpose. They put cheap wine next to more expensive wine. So if you see a $10 bottle or a $15 bottle next to a $100 or $200 bottle, you might think that a $15 or $20 bottle is a good price. Even though if you would see that by itself, the $15, $20 wine, you think, oh, that's not cheap, I'm not gonna buy that. Or especially if you would see that $15, $20 wine next to a $5 wine, so you're much less likely to buy that. That's really interesting. I like this idea. The next one is the theory for loss averse, is that back in the days when you lose something, it mostly mean death. So how the loss averse evolved is that back in the days when you lost something, it means death. So we're really trying to avoid to lose anything, because if you lose something, you will die. This is what he used to be. This is how he evolved. And the next one is big tails and horns. Although they're highly cost for the animal, they serve an important role in mating selection, which means size matter. So big horns or tails usually will attract more predators, or the horns are just heavy, so they need more energy to carry it around. So it has high costs, but they serve an important role in mating selection because size do matter, and mating and females are attracted more to that. The next one is females with long hair shows how healthy they are. Therefore, it can increase interest in them. So that's the long hair. Usually, men will consider long hair as sexy, and one of the reasons is because long hair mostly mean that they manage to get that far, so they know they're healthier and they have good nutrition, etc., etc., etc. The next one is, in general, males are more prone to show risky behaviors, while women are more nurturing and caring. The reason is that caring women have better chances at caring for kids, while risky behavior is more protective. So I find it really interesting that that's the theory, is that males more prone to risky behaviors. This is a study, and the theory is why. But women, on the other end, are more nurturing and caring. So, because women, when they are caring, when they care, why they're more caring? Because a woman that is more caring has a higher chances of taking good care of the kids and actually make them more able to survive. While risky behavior, so men who show risky behavior mean that they're more protective. So risky behavior usually means that if a lion comes, you will jump no matter what, and something like that. All right, we have the last one here. Is, unfortunately, we moved from enjoying diverse diet to needing a diverse diet, and that's really interesting. So it started with, we enjoy a diverse diet. We can eat this and that. We can eat a whole bunch of foods. But what ended up happening is that we need a whole bunch of food because the body forget or adapt itself to not needing to provide or extract those things from other materials. Just as like the vitamin C, as I discussed before. So when you have vitamin C in your diet, your body doesn't need to learn how to extract vitamin C from other supplements or other foods that you eat. And therefore what happened next is that you have to get vitamin C. That's really, really interesting. All right, this is it. In general, what I think about this book, I really like this book. It's short, not too much, a lot of good information, not too much bullshit. Probably 4 or 5 stars. I learned a lot of new things in this book, and I definitely find it interesting. I definitely recommend this. All right, thank you.